first of all, Alice, I want to start just somewhere thinking, and we're going to get to the Trans Day of Excellence today, and it's another day for trans people in the whatever people today. We're going to celebrate.
There was a flag raising in the town next door.
Was there really?
For Trans Day of Visibility.
Thank
I
God.
sent it to us.
You know, they hardly are visible, I find. They hardly want you knowing all about them and demanding your attention and your compliance. For a group that you never see, they make a lot of demands for a group that's so unsafe, constantly being murdered and under assault, that they have special demands for you, or they'll go ape bleep in your video game store if you don't do it, as they don't look like actual women. So, but I was actually I was at Shaw's today, the grocery store. I had to go to Shaw's because it made sense geographically. Usually I'd go to the other one, but Market Basket, getting my son. Getting my son. Sorry about that. But Market Basket. That particular Market Basket is it gets crowded, and so I needed to go to. They need to be in and out, and at Shaw's, thankfully, because there's a Market Basket right next to it, that Shaw's is always empty, so it makes it easy. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I go in there, and first of all, there's 4 people standing at the check your own groceries area. Mm-hmm. 4 associates, and I go, okay, fine. I don't need. There doesn't need to be any people there. Really, at all. There's nothing I need from them. There's nothing they really can ever help me with at all. Or there's nothing. Now there's 4 of them there, and I hear them talking. And one of the this lady who's probably like 74, is talking to the kid. Said, yeah, all right, Helen, you need to stay here, and I'm gonna need to go outside and do carriages for a bit. And she said, well, isn't Billy on here? He said, no. Brad had to just go grab him, and he pulled him off the floor for a second. So, and she said, oh, there's nobody. So Brad pulled him right off the floor. So what? And you're going out for care? You're doing carriages? So, okay, but he pulled him right off the floor, and so they're making you do carriages. So now Helen's starting trouble. She's like, they're making you do carriages because this guy's kind of a key person. He's got some seniority. He's a non-commissioned officer in there. And she said, he said, yep, I'm doing carriages. And the other kid said, okay. And then they called another kid who was sitting there and said, oh, you should go over to cashier place number 6 and go wherever I think you've got customers. And it just occurred to me while I was there just how horrific it would be. I am 1 round of layoffs away from being with Brad and Helen.
It's true.
And I thought about starting a new job at this age, and a job that's entry level, like that job, where you've got to learn. Don't tell me. I'll go outside and I will shag shopping carts left and right. That's what my friends say at a Market Basket. But nobody better come up to me and say, Tom, we need you to do carriages. I'm not learning new words for your shit. I'm sorry about that. I can't imagine starting a new job where they've got all the vernacular there, and they call it their own special thing. And Brad feels a little bit more entitled because he closes the place up, and somebody else was called off the floor, so Brad had to make a decision. And the other person.
I like learning new stuff.
And they all sit around there. One of the best things about being in media is because, or let's say print media and radio, is that the staff has been so depleted because the industries are dying. There's no more HR. There's compliance training that's this programmed thing from corporate that takes 18 hours a year to do, but there's no HR because. If I had to go to an orientation, like do my 2 days of orientation like I used to have to at hotels, which was bad enough then, and you had to do it when you worked at the mall, You go there, okay, just so you guys know.
Yeah, you have like your days of register training.
Oh, yeah, register training. And also guest interaction. And like if somebody in the group of the new hires, and you with the new hires, you're like, these people are not awesome who are here, these new hires. For largely, some are, some aren't. And I think I've told this before. We had this orientation one time, and this guy wouldn't. And if he's listening right now, I'm sorry, but this is 1994. The new Hyatt had opened at the airport, and so I already worked at a few hotels and done a few orientations. When I worked at the Opryland Hotel. In there a lot of times when these orientations have a lot of people. There's some people who are going to do very well in the industry, and there's some people who barely
are
have
not going to be able to hack it.
We had to at the Opryland Hotel. They said, "Okay, guys, for tomorrow's orientation, tomorrow counts as a work day." So it was orientation day 1, and they said for orientation. So they gave us a tour of the hotel. It's a huge shopping center. And they said for orientation day 2, tomorrow's your official first work day. So remember, you don't allow facial hair here, no cornrows, no facial hair. And, you have to be groomed this way. It's a fancy hotel. At least it was.
Yeah, you're not supposed to show up in your jean shorts or something.
Exactly. The next day, like 3 out of 11 facial hair. And they got sent home. That was it. Their career lasted for 11 seconds because they couldn't just... She said no facial hair, so just don't have facial hair. It's that easy. They couldn't handle it. When I worked at the Hyatt, there was this guy... We couldn't... It's the orientation. And I'm like... You and I, this guy was being a busser. So his job was to be in the kitchen, pushing dirty dishes to the dishwasher, essentially. Not even a busboy in the front. He was in the back of the house. He's dealing with dirty dishes. He's not qualified to pull the thing down to clean them. That's somebody else. This guy is his job is to mop the kitchen and push big dollies, queens, or whatever they're called, of dirty dishes. That's it. And he held us up. Because he kept asking questions in orientation. I'm like, get me the frig out of here. And he was like, I remember him saying, actually, this guy, I remember because I remember it was just funny. I'll tell you the story. But he was there the moment I got fired, actually. But this guy was saying, yeah, I have one more question. You said, I am a legal NRA or whatever. What's it called when you have your license to carry?
Like F something else.
Yeah. I do have my FDA, certification.
LPC license to carry.
Yeah, and I do have a 9mm Beretta, and I do usually carry that as a sidearm. Am I allowed to bring that into work? And they said, no, there's no guns. You can't bring your gun into work. He said, I am registered, and I do have my license that has this and that. It is a registered sidearm. It is fully legal. I do, if an officer pulls me over, I do tell him that I am carrying a side. And she said, yes, that's fine. You can't do it. You can't do it. He said, okay, because it is a legal firearm in the state of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'm like, holy fuck! This is terrible. No, just stop. Just go away. Go away. And I remember the moment I got fired because my boss actually, who is a psychotic, just psycho woman, crazy wasp. This lady, she threw me under the bus. She blamed something on me, and it wasn't my fault. What happened was we were supposed to. There was a big function happening, and we were supposed to break down the function afterwards, and set up the room for a meeting in the morning. And the function happened. We broke down the room, and she said, "Okay, boys, you can go home." And I said, "Jean," her name was Jean. I said, "Jean, we have to set this up for something in the morning." She goes, no, there's no function in the morning here. And I said, yeah, there's a function in the morning. We had the BEOs. You guys in banquets, F&B will know the banquet event order. And it showed the classroom style setup with a riser in the front and all the... I said, mine shows that, Gene. And she said, no, there's nothing in the morning. So we go home. Next thing you know, I get a call from the banquet manager saying, where'd you guys go last night? There was a meeting, and they arrived here. The room wasn't set up. He loses it. She blames me and said I was insubordinate and didn't clean up, whatever. And I walk in, and this guy who wanted to bring his gun in said, oh, you're going to be in trouble, man. You're going to be in trouble. When she says something to you, just say F you. Whatever. And anyway, she said something to me, and she said essentially, like, you this is you. This is a written warning, whatever. And I essentially said F you to her. And then she told the other person, she said, "Now you have a freaking problem, the gun guy?" And he said, "No, I have no problem." And he went upstairs and like, oh, Mr.
Tough guy.
Yeah, Mr. Tough Guy. So anyway, and that reminds me of when I worked at Caldor, and we're going to do the show in a second.
Okay.
This guy named Bob was working there. I had this job at Caldor unloading a truck, and Bob had just been laid off from a real job that he had. This is the early 90s. This is George H.W. Bush. And Bob didn't last for more than a week. He just couldn't take the idiocy that he was dealing with because it was me and 7 other idiots who were unloading the truck, including one guy who used to get lost in the store. He got lost. This guy named Adam or something just used to get lost in the store. He didn't know where he was. And we'd have to then create a search party to find Adam because he was lost at Caldor. And God knows what could have happened to him. So this guy just said, Bob was great. He wanted no problem, anything. Don't talk to me. I'm just going to do the thing. I'm in here. I'm going out. I do not enjoy life. I'm probably his age now. He was old to us then. And I remember one time we were there, our manager saying to us, "Okay, guys, remember, our guests are going to be here in like 45 minutes for opening. For Caldor's, we had to call the people guests. And Bob just said, "Fuck it," and fucking walked out. And I thought, there you go. There's a free man. So my point is this.
Okay.
I'm not calling them guests. I'm not going, you really have to do acronyms sometimes at the front desk at hotels. We used to have to, it was called HEART. Remember, guys, let's do your heart training. Hear, empathize, act, reiterate. And all that ever made me want to do, all of these trainings and all this stuff ever made me want to do was, and if I had to do this now, this would be an infamous orientation day where I poured gasoline over myself in the orientation room and lit myself on fire and just absolutely just burned. So
I like stuff like that. I think it's fun.
Oh, freaking please. I would rather be sexually assaulted by silverback apes, a line of them, than ever do that again. Ever. Okay.
I think you'd have fun driving for Amazon or something.
If you give me a job where I can be left the F alone, me, packages,
but
indoors.
They probably have an orientation.
Oh,
and
can you imagine?
And stuff.
All right, associates. Oh, yeah, I know. The thing is that I'm going to have to do that too, because if you look at my LinkedIn, all the jobs it gives me are stuff that's related to retail. Because there's nobody, my field is dead. And all of like we're going to be the podcaster. I know that you've got me doing the touring old senior citizen homes, Alice.
I think it would be good.
Yeah, my pro bono job would be good.
Well, the idea is that you try and make it successful. I know that's like a foreign concept.
We're going to hit it, find a diamond eventually. Okay, so this is what I want to get to. This is today, Trans Day of whatever. And I'm just absolute whatever. Just fuck off is what I'm saying. It's so incredible that the Trans Day of Acceptance or Visibility, it's all BS. And I'm glad we just found this. Today this is a not safe for work day. There's going to be a lot of swears coming today. I apologize for you if you're listening with kids. I apologize to my own son who's listening to this right now, who's going to have to hear this. But he's heard worse from his mother during the day in the house. So here's Adam Carolla. This is a great, great rant. Defending men, on Trans Day of Acceptance. He's got no time for this.
I toured the sites of Altadena and the Palisades and Malibu. There's a whole bunch of people with dicks and balls who are fucking driving excavators and trucks and operating all the heavy equipment, all the fucking people you hate, all the people who didn't go to college, all the guys with the cocks and the balls, all the guys who don't give you their pronouns. That place has been completely rebuilt by just them.
Yeah.
Nobody who looks like you, nobody uses pronouns, no he, she's, none of your fucking freak shows, none of your Admiral Levines. Nobody looks like that. It's just a bunch of fucking dudes who go by he and him, bitch. So let's not run them out of society. The reason we shouldn't run those guys out of society is because every once in a while, shit's going to burn. And then you need dudes to rebuild it. You understand? Not you fairies, dudes. Not your fucking pals, real dudes. The dudes you don't like. Every once in a while, shit's going to burn down, and you need someone to come in there and clean up the mess and then rebuild it, or war's going to break out, or a fucking bridge needs to be rebuilt. And guess who we need? Dudes.
Yeah.
Not your fucking LGBT community buddies. Dudes. Not your fucking Black Lives Matter fat bitches. Dudes. You understand? So stop fucking waging a war on dudes, because every once in a while you may need one.
Absolutely.
Because every once in a while you may need to get shit done. Oh, God damn. We didn't have mail. What's right? I didn't see any chicks. I didn't see anyone who looked like Admiral Levine. I just saw dudes. That's all I saw. Working all the fucking equipment, doing all the heavy lifting, and doing all the fucking work.
Well, yeah. You know, the whole thing and the whole Trans Day of Acceptance thing is... So, what do you fucking need from me?
The Newburyport Daily News is reporting there were no protests at the flag raising today.
Right. Well, because...
That's the headline.
Bro, because today's a work day. And so people are just working. And nobody else ever needs anything
I didn't
from me.
even know they were having a flag raising because I do not care what they're up to at all.
Did they conquer
whatsoever.
Newburyport? Why are they raising the flag there? Why? Because you have a mental disorder where you pretend that you're victimized by somebody who, if you are victimized, is likely to be having the same mental disorder of you. And is actually slightly likely these days to possibly be a school shooter or a mass shooter. It's very interesting. No other group demands that, no, it's our day of visibility. Freaking does that mean? You're the most royally treated class of people in the country, and especially in this country. Everybody has to make pretend because you're around. Everybody has to. You're a series of insults walking into a room. First of all, you look like a hideous version of a woman. You're making fun of women. You're not actually women if you're guys dressing as women. You're demanding that we see you because you're presenting as a... You're demanding that we break all the rules of English and grammar for you. You can't. The normal rules can't apply to you. You need us to speak in a special way for you. You have your day of whatever, and then we have to deal with you like lecturing all over social media, all over the place. You have to have. We're already at strike two. We're already in trouble with you because we've screwed up here somewhere because you're freaking oversensitive and a pain in the ass. And that is a thing. Is that like when Corolla talks about that? The best guys around in any like work crew or any group of friends are guys who are self-sufficient, don't need anything. Don't need anything at all. That's it. That's it. And who don't have freaking problems. When I worked in the last in newspapers, I think half my value, not 75% of my value, was I could get stuff done and go places, set up broadcasts, get plane flights, go where I was supposed to, get interviews, do the thing, and nobody had to ever ask me. It was already done. That's it. That's it. Like, there was I never needed directions anywhere. I never needed anything from anybody. It was nice and easy. And people like that about you. And that's what, like, men are as well. Mm-hmm. You think that, like, any of these guys in the chat, or I'll even say, like, girls in the chat, are suddenly just a burdensome pain in the ass? Mm-hmm. Or have special demands? Gives a crap.
And it's not, like, just about trans people. The world is full of annoying, mentally ill, or overly sensitive people who have a problem.
Yes.
I've worked with completely non-trans people who, if you are a high-maintenance person and you have that reputation in your workplace and that you're just difficult to work with, that you're always going to have a problem, that you're always going to say no, that you're always going to start trouble, then you're going to constantly be left out of things, not asked your opinion because people don't want to deal with you, right? And like that's the thing, is that it's just one very specific form of that, right? Is people sense that already that you're going to have some kind of problem with them and what they do. You're going to make it hard. Don't be a person who makes things hard. Be a person who makes things easy on other people, whether you're trans or cis or straight or whatever you are. Don't make other people do a lot of work.
Right.
I mean, like, and that goes for every job ever. Nobody wants to be made to do extra work. Figure it out.
Right. Yeah, and it's a great point, and that's unfortunately there are too many personalities where you can tell immediately. Okay, I'm kind of into no. I'm gonna need things from you. My parasitic talons are into you, and somehow your thing's now gonna be my thing. Mm-hmm. We've now got a problem here, and now we've got to do our thing, and now it's like. It's the work. It's one of the good things about like radio right now being so sparse of employees. There's not enough people there's no redundancies. There's nobody standing around. Mm-hmm. There's almost nobody. Like there's no any of the usual 20 years ago pain in the ass things that would happen in radio don't happen anymore because there's nobody to be a pain in the ass. There's nobody left.
Well, and doesn't that just tell you? And that's true. It's not just radio, and it's not just. The RMV, but virtually every big organization that does not have its feet held to the fire to trim fat ends up having all kinds of useless employees, or worse than useless employees who actually are a net negative on the organization, on the productivity, on the people around them. Like every big organization has it. And I mean, that's why, obviously, Elon Musk was able to fire more than half of Twitter and have the thing still work, is that most people are not helping the organization. No. Once you get past a certain size, most people are making the organization worse.
Absolutely.
Day by day. Like, they're a problem, and they're not only not helping, but they're actually, like, making their fellow employees' day worse and making them less productive. So if you start to get rid of those people, you just make the organization better. Obviously, Twitter still works with way fewer people.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the federal government still works, even if you fire tens of thousands of people. Keep going. We need to fire more because any organization that's that big has a lot of those type of people.
Totally agree.
And people like that either need to learn to not be a net drag, or they need to go do something else where they can have less of an impact on the organization.
And by the way, I get it. I get being half-assing at your job. Like I don't half-ass at my job, my radio job. Mm-hmm. But it's a magical job to have. That people pay you to do that is magical. But there are some moments where
you've known that type of person in all kinds of jobs. Yeah. Where there are just people who want to throw up roadblocks.
Oh, yeah.
Toward doing anything.
Oh, always.
That always want to have a problem with somebody else.
Usually, sorry, Tommy. It's usually the IT guy. I mean, I don't, not always. Like, our IT guy right now, actually, I'll say for
or people in unions.
Odyssey Northeast, Intercom Northeast, Eric Fitch, and Sid Schweiger. Let me give you shout outs. And the guy we have now in Hartford, they're awesome. Awesome. But not everybody is awesome, especially if I found that IT guys who just in the last few years, like the company was laying off, and so they became the IT guy. They're like, my feeling is that every time you tell me to do a help desk ticket, you're really giving me the finger in a way, almost every time. Now I'm remote and now there's nobody around, so I understand. But I mean, there was a time our engineers at Creator Media, there were a couple of them good. A lot of them, way too many engineers, way too much time. They didn't like our politics, so the FM talk station they were dismissive. I remember my headphone jack broke. Boom, headphone jack broke, and so it just broke right off. And so I ran down to engineering, or the thing where you plug it in didn't work, whatever. I ran down to engineering in a break and said, "Can you guys help?" And they were all sitting around a meeting. "Can you guys help? We're on the air, and I can't hear. If you turn the mic on, which Michael Graham was talking to me, so the mic would go on, and the only way you can hear is if you're wearing headphones, because all the sound dies, so that there's no sound coming." And I remember one of the guys saying, "Do you not see we're in a meeting?" And wow, that's incredible. I said, "Yeah, okay, but I guess when you can, but he's talking to me on the air, and I can't really do anything if I don't have headphones." And they were like, "Oh." And one guy eventually like lumbered up there. He was so they were it was ridiculous. And to his credit, Michael Graham is capable of being a nuclear level a-hole and frigging dressed down everybody in that department, and almost brought the leader, the boss, to tears. It was really incredible thing to watch. But yeah, there's these people who just sticks in the mud, and they're absolutely terrible. Which is why Antonio Gracias, you know who that is, Alice?
No.
That is Elon Musk's new guy who he brought out to Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Who is just fantastic cleaning up all this stuff.
To the stage. Oh. I think so. Let's see. Does it work? I can give you mine. Does it work? It'll be okay. I mean, Buzz Aldrin's still alive, and he went past the belts.
It'll work. Is this working? Yeah, it's on now. Yeah.
There you go. So, Antonio, can you tell us what you? Antonio's helping out with the Social Security. So, just trying to review Social Security, where you may have heard that we found 20 million dead people marked as alive in the Social Security database. This is so crazy. And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here.
He's a graph.
Where how many Social Security numbers were issued? Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of maybe?
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear at a judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765. It's the work form. You get this form called the 766. That's the authorization. And then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview. No ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep.
No.
They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people.
So anyway, there's a lot of that stuff there. This guy's a big hero.
And so I think this is really interesting because this gets at the heart of something that they fought about during the debate, the J.D. Vance, Tim Walz debate, and something at the heart of sort of the discussion about some of the deportations we're seeing now, where people are saying, oh, but they're deporting legal immigrants, right? In some of these cases, you have like the Tufts student who's here on a visa, supports Hamas, gets sent home, visa goes away. And you had this debate where J.D. Vance is talking about the Haitians in whatever, Springfield, Ohio, or wherever it was, right? And they're saying they fact-checked him and told him, you know, these are legal immigrants. They're not illegal immigrants. And he's saying, no, but they're making a process by which people who just show up here illegally can just stay.
Yes.
Right? And they're all under slightly different circumstances, right? But all of these are tools by which the Democratic Party made the decision over the last few years to take people who we would have considered to be illegal immigrants and in various ways give them at least some kind of temporary legal status so that they could stay here and so that they can then say, no, they're legal immigrants.
Right.
Because there's been a long-standing sort of meme on the right where they say, oh, we're for legal immigration, like this guy just did, doing it the right way, and against illegal immigration. And you'll notice that's a very common thread in many, many of these stories they're telling of people who are deported. Oh, they did everything right. They followed all the procedures. They did what the immigration attorneys told them. They showed up to all the court dates. They appeared. Well, yeah, but you were only ever here, in this case, for what they're describing, you were only ever here on an application for asylum. And yes, you were legally allowed to be here while you waited X number of years for your asylum case to show up. But there's this silly shell game that they're playing. Well, not so silly shell game, really, because it's a very clever shell game where then they can turn around and say, no, these were legal immigrants. Well, no, that's nobody's definition of a legal immigrant, right? Is somebody who randomly shows up at the border, gets apprehended and says, oh, wait, let me apply for asylum. And then to say, oh, okay, when they could charge you with a crime, but they just choose not to. And essentially just let you stay, right? Nobody, when they said we're for legal immigration, just not illegal immigration, had the idea that we should just wave a magic wand and call all the illegal immigrants legal immigrants.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was what nobody had in mind. What people had in mind was the traditional visa application process where you're away in another country and you apply for a student visa or you apply for a work visa or you marry an American citizen and you apply for a visa or whatever it is, right? Like, we have had processes for a long time. People overseas wait very long periods of time. You know, people who don't live close enough to just walk across the border. But they've discovered that's why that Canadian influencer chick tried to do it in Mexico too. Do you know what I'm saying? She had the application for the new work visa after her previous one got revoked because they told her it never should have been issued in the first place. This Canadian influencer who's been telling her sob story to every international outlet that will listen about how horribly she was treated. She tried to come in through Canada because she's Canadian, and they revoked her work visa. They said it was never properly issued. So instead, she turned around and went down to the Mexico border and tried to come in through there, and they deported her and gave her a 5-year ban. And the process took a couple weeks, so she cried about it because she had like the baked potato blanket and whatever, and she's not used to, as a very famous American Pie actress,
right?
She is not used to being treated like that because she was in like the 17th spin-off straight-to-DVD thing that they made that was branded American Pie.
Of course.
I hate her so much. I want her to come back so we can deport her again. Like, I find her so annoying. Anyway, all these stories have in common is they keep telling you this was a legal immigrant with paperwork and they did everything right and they followed the process like they were supposed to and blah, 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 blah. You know, just because the Biden administration told you didn't have to follow rules doesn't make you a legal immigrant, right? And the thing about all these statuses is all these statuses that they were issuing out willy-nilly can just as easily be revoked.
Mm-hmm.
We have a process by which you can become a citizen if you want to do that.
Of course. And by the way, if you're going to do, you're supposed to go through, what are these called? The points where the checkpoints are. The Border Patrol checkpoints.
Points of entry?
No, it's another area. I have some other audio to get to. Do you want to stick with this for a second?
I feel like I had one more thing on this note. Oh, you mentioned they mentioned Biden being asleep at the wheel, and I mean this obviously was intentional, that they were intentionally bringing people in, but Biden himself absolutely was asleep at the wheel. The Hill just came out with another story. The Jake Tapper book was not enough. Did you see this article in The Hill today?
I saw that you sent it, yeah.
Biden's frailties hampered Harris.
Oh, no, maybe I didn't. I saw the one about him having makeup on.
Yeah, this is from this. Democratic Party officials and the White House staffers were well aware of former President Biden's frailties ahead of his choice to end his ill-fated re-election bid last summer, according to exclusive excerpts of a new book released to The Hill. The excerpt from Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by The Hill senior political correspondent Amy Parnes and NBC senior news national politics reporter Jonathan Allen reveals extensive steps to cover up the signs of Biden's aging and contingency planning if Biden chose to step aside or even died in office.
Jesus.
Concerns around his age, people downplayed the worries. Eric Swalwell first became concerned about Biden's cognitive abilities in June of 2023 when they spoke. So that's a year before he dropped out of the race. Let the record show. June of 2023 when they spoke at the annual White House picnic. Swalwell had not been invited to the White House often, but when Biden and Swalwell came face to face, Biden did not recognize the congressman, and he needed to note personal details to remind Biden who he is. At the G7 summit in Italy preceding the debate the following year, Biden was tired when he arrived, and in most of the sessions, a Biden aide told Parnas.
This is the one where the Italian prime minister, the woman, had to go get him when he walked off after the parachuters were there. To cover up the physical
signs of Biden's aging, a makeup artist met with him in the morning when he traveled. The artist also covered up aging signs before Zoom calls with his aides. Biden consistently made the makeup appointments, but sometimes canceled the briefings that followed. After the debate with Trump, Biden needed fluorescent tape to guide him through a fundraiser at New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy's house and needed a teleprompter to speak to just a small group of people, but still frequently trailed off during his remarks.
Yeah.
Close aides remain behind him. First Lady Jill Biden was 1,000% behind it, etc. I mean,
wow, are they really corrupt, low-level, grifting pieces of crap? Huh? Wow. Isn't it interesting how it all gets... everything you thought is absolutely right.
Yeah, no. They were the same people who are writing this book now were telling us we were all crazy.
Well, and also, Joe Biden, Alice, when I was 15 years old, Joe Biden had to leave a presidential race because they found out that he had lied about everything in a really psycho way to lie about everything. All about his college grades, about being in the civil rights movement. He stole the other guy, the English guy's entire biography and didn't even change it. He just stole it because he thought it was good.
Yeah.
And, like, the people, the New York Times knew about it. Everybody knew about it. This guy got beat up by the friendly media, and the media was friendly to him back then, too. And he just stole, he was just an absolute, and he's been known as that. And since he didn't lose his job, he just got more emboldened. Emboldened and more emboldened. And, why not?
Well, yeah, and the family, obviously, Jill was 1,000% behind it because the entire family's business proposition is making money off him being in office.
Yes.
Which is so lame and pathetic.
Yes.
It's people talk about the Trumps like enriching themselves or Elon Musk enriching himself. All these people that we're talking about and all the people in like Trump's orbit, for the most part, were rich well before they decided to be a part of his administration.
Jobs. The Biden families have no jobs. Their job is to
sell access to jobs.
Exactly.
Right. There's no jobs in their whole family. Like Hunter Biden has no life skills.
No, he doesn't even pretend to be a painter anymore. It's all over. It's amazing. This is my guy, Alice. This is the ACLU lawyer.
Talk about Joe Biden. Joe Biden's whole family is going to be working at Amazon delivery soon with you, Tom. You and Hunter will be out there in your polyester uniforms together.
Sex-based police, the policies that are claiming that transgender women in sports are men are wrong. The president is lying when he says that there are men impersonating women and participating in women's.
This is the ACLU lawyer. This is not actually a biological man, this lawyer. You've seen him before. This is a lady who's pretending to be a man. And listen, just like we played yesterday with that LGBT person in Connecticut saying that, no, there's no such thing as surgery for minors in Connecticut. It's just a lie. This is just a total lie. Why not?
The policies that are claiming that transgender women in sports are men are wrong. The president is lying when he says that there are men impersonating women and participating in women's sports. There are no examples of men impersonating women that I am aware of, and it is incorrect to refer to transgender women and girls as men and boys. And what these executive orders do, what these laws do, is open the door to sex-based police. The policy.
So there you go. You got it?
It's a lie.
It's all a lie, and there's no such thing, and you don't, and better not, just like last night said, you better be careful. We got to be careful about this. Don't start saying that they're men with, and these people telling us with their finger in our face, telling us, you better not. No, it's not.
And
Psycho.
here's the thing.
And by the way, this reporter, there was a reporter there. It was kept going back to the reporter asking him the question. The fact that the reporter didn't stop him at all in any part there, like in a challenge, that guy should be tarred and feathered. Yeah,
but I don't know, the ACLU, it's so sad how far they've fallen, because they used to be, if not an unbiased, I mean, they certainly were a principled organization at least, right?
I don't know anymore.
But they used to be, is what I'm saying, like Dershowitz and defending.
Oh, was he part of that?
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he part of the ACLU?
No, he was a defense attorney. I'm pretty sure. Or,
I could be wrong.
Was he? I don't think so.
But anyway, the other story where the ACLU has been this story.
Thurgood Marshall was, I think. I might be way wrong on this. So
so the I thought he used to, but maybe no, maybe not. Legal career. No, I must have it mixed up with someone else. Anyway, but the ACLU did like the Nazi. Didn't they defend the Nazi rally?
In Skokie, yes.
In Skokie, yep. Okay.
Which I didn't realize was like 1979. I didn't realize it was that early.
It was fairly
recent.
Yeah, it was fairly like not that long ago.
I hate Illinois Nazis. That must be what the whole thing is from the Blues Brothers.
So, but I guess my point about the ACLU is they're now so ideologically captured, right? And so like just they've given up on any like free speech, anything.
Yeah. Yeah, just activists. It's like the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's just trash.
They went out here and they've been suing over this. Trump deported some of these people, the Tren de Aragua gang members, right? So they have the one that they're saying like, oh, he's a gay hairdresser, yes. And he just like it was only because he had this tattoo, and so they've been circulating this document that ICE has on like how to recognize Tren de Aragua tattoos. Some of which are silly. One's like a Michael Jordan tattoo or something. I don't know. Whatever. The document, of course, is from last year. So and ICE under the Biden administration, which is when this guy was first ID'd as a potential member of Tren de Aragua. And I mean, the Trump administration stands by their intelligence, and they're saying like none of these people is deported just because of a tattoo. All of them, we have more information that leads us to believe they're gang members. But, the ACLU is putting this forward as though the Trump administration just came up with this tattoo thing. But in actuality, like this is a Biden administration policy. It's all back to the same thing again, like how they did the kids in cages stuff when the kids in cages stuff all happened under Obama. The truth is nothing bad needs to happen at the border anymore under Trump because nobody's coming anymore.
Right.
Because they know they're not going to get a free pass into America.
Well, right. And all of the help in the world, unfortunately for them, all the NGOs have been defunded. Or they're doing it right now. Let's see. All right. Should we do the chat? I don't know if there is any chat. Is there a chat? I don't know. Oh, yeah, there is Shot Chat. Should we do some Shot Chat?
Let's do some Shot Chat.
Should we do Carriages? Else? Should we do Carriages?
Carriages?
Does that not ring a bell?
From the beginning of the show?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do Carriages.
What are you looking at, by the way? And if you're looking at the chat and it's good, please read it.
No, I was looking at stuff about the ACLU. Sorry, go ahead.
I waver and look at the internet when you talk. You look at me like Pepper looks at me when I eat steak. That's what you need to do.
Okay.
Tom, I love the nursing home idea. You could be paid in applesauce, prune juice, Werther's Originals, and maybe applesauce, and you might walk out of there smelling like urine and cat,
Steve.
because you know a lot of these elderly are probably cat ladies. So I think it's a win.
By the way, it smelled like cat piss in our kitchen today for a second. We don't have a cat, right? What would smell like that? Would you know? Maybe it doesn't anymore. Nobody has a cat, right?
I didn't piss in the kitchen. So.
Oh, Alice, Jesus.
Did you?
Alice.
Did one of our kids? I don't know. Did Pepper?
I don't know. Pepper's not a cat, right?
Does it smell different? I don't know. I don't examine it.
People are saying that RDT was talking about hitting the 30-second fast-forward button when he listens to the Burn Barrel.
No.
And you guys are talking about gender-affirming topics, which he finds quite boring. So hopefully you guys will move away from that eventually, because we have to make RDT happy.
We love RDT. The All You Can Eat podcast does not go into controversial political and cultural topics. Mm-hmm. Thankfully.
I don't know if I would recognize RDT.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the documentary and everything. I remember that whole power struggle, but I don't know if I would just recognize him out in public. I applaud you both because you both recognized him. And you fanboyed all over him, Tom.
Yeah, I did.
That's just great.
I know.
And I did make a call to the Demoulas main line to mention that you do steal from there occasionally. I'm pretty sure they're going to let that go, especially the broken section.
Oh, I love the broken section. I do not. I think, well, there might have been one actual theft.
The avocados? Or was that Walmart?
I think that was Walmart, the avocados. Yeah. There may have been one. No, remember, didn't you and I get a broom for free? Yeah, that was at
Walmart, too.
It was? No. I don't think so.
I think it was because
It was a good day, regardless of where it was. I thought it was at the Reading Market Basket. But then again, that probably wasn't. Nobody cares.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I haven't called in a while, but
nice to see you.
Found it interesting when you were talking about Mr. Demoulas being in the Walmart store. I think if you'd probed a little bit, you might have found that he really wasn't price checking. He was just looking at how the store was set up and what Walmart was doing well. This was something that Sam Walton did to actually build Walmart. He spent as much time in competition as he did in Walmart stores, looking again to see what people were doing right. Sam had a phrase that you might see in his book Made in America. That was Sam's biography, and the phrase was "steal shamelessly from the competition." If he saw something that somebody was doing well, he moved it into the Walmart stores and made it better. So just a little sidebar to add on to your discussion with Mr. Demoulas. Market Basket is a great competitor for Walmart. They do a super job. And I'm sure part of the reason for that is they look at what Walmart is doing well and try to copy it. So something you could even do in podcasting.
Ooh.
1 minute and 26 seconds.
Oh, was that a late chat shot?
Feel maybe it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I love it. You know what? I'll say one thing. In the last 20 years or 25 years, all of these stores have arrived in New England. Like Best Buy wasn't here till like 99. Target was a little bit later. Walmart was even later to the Northeast here. Mm-hmm. I feel that they've all lost some luster. Like Best Buy is rubbish, but like Target, there was a time 20 years ago I was magical. Now it's like ugh.
Yeah. I feel both Target and Walmart are meh. I mean, for some things, it's okay.
Yeah.
But Market Basket has way more selection for grocery, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Like they have like lots more. And in Walmart, like a large amount of the store, unless you're buying brand name stuff, all the stuff that's like made just for Walmart, especially like shoes and apparel, is like mostly useless.
Well, that's true. And actually,
it's like not real shoes. And
yeah.
stuff.
And what I've found too is, and I understand I'm a fat, but like I just bought a big shirt, a 2XL or 3XL shirt at Walmart that I gave to my daughter, who's a 14-year-old thin girl. I mean, so I understand maybe I could have tried it around, but it told me that it was like some 3XL thing, which is absolutely scurrilous. Total lie. What do you got going on? Anything else?
That's it on my end.
From the mind of Mindy Kaling.
Ready?
I'm ready.
For the closing music, you got a speech ready?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the messages and everything. It is good to be back. And if you want to join us for the Patreon live chat, hopefully I can send you guys the right link sometimes. Then you can join that at patreon.com/burnbarrel, where we live stream every day, and we have a little extra content each week if you like to listen to it for free, because who doesn't like that? You can go to burnbarrelpodcast.com and find links to all different places to listen.
C'est la vie.